got bachelors. Yeah, I've got bachelors. Oh yeah. It's no accident. Yo, what up, dudes? What up, what up, what up? Get in on this, baby. I'm gonna be talking about this setup real quick. Just on break after I did my whole thing with my doggy, I found out some stuff here with the fractals and the cycle. Yo, Lynn, hey, remind me before 3 o'clock to play that theme song for you, okay? I got you. Hello, C-Boss, what's up, man? Yep. All right, guys. Move this here real quick. Okay, so why is this song playing over and over again? Ooh, that's gonna break the system. All right. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. You're only here for my song. Bruh, come on. Give the guy. Okay. So, again, I'm gonna wait for some people to come in. I'm gonna do a little Q&A here in a little bit because I want to explain this to people who just came in about the current setup. Yeah. Let's be hopeful for sure, man. I think it's, again, it's good stuff. We'll be fine. Don't worry. Not financially advised, but don't worry, it'll be fine. YouTube Studio, what happened to my thing? What? Where'd it go? Alright, here we go. Hey, I'll take that. Well, I appreciate you guys for liking the stream. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. I'm gonna pull this up right here. Okay, cool. There we go. Now I got the chat. Now I can see everything going on. Okay, what's up, Jason? How you doing, dude? All right, what's up, guys? I'm gonna wait a little bit more. Okay, we're doing good. There we go. All right. Okay, guys, so for those of you who were with me a little bit earlier, we were talking about this tracking that is currently happening on the micro. Okay, this fractal here that is tracking on the micro. And I just wanted to say something as far as the way these track each other, and again how they do track each other. They're definitely real. They're there. But one thing that people have to be very careful with is, you know, copying these patterns and just pasting them through, because there is noise, right? This volume right here in between these after-hour sessions are a way to basically get yourself in a sticky situation if you're putting too much faith in these, right? Because the pattern itself tends to do something else around this area, right? It's not as pretty, right, as these other patterns that are being laid over here, right? These are basically identical, guys. Look at this. Okay, now one thing I want to say is, again, with these fractals, at some point within the entire pattern here, they tend to play out to the upside or the downside, right? The opposite. So I'm going to give you an example. This is currently where we're at right here, and I took, I think it was 3 o'clock. Yeah, 3 o'clock. So I'm going to do this pattern back here for you guys. Okay, and then we're going to paste this guy down here. Okay, here we go. Okay, all right, so watch this, dude. So this entire, where'd it go, man? What the fuck? Okay, here it is. This is what follows, right? What's happening back here. This is what happens, right? On this entire, this big flag, right? So if you take this pattern and just paste it over here and expect this to play out in your own way, then it would do something like this, right? It would come back down and then it would trade sideways or whatever. But sometimes the opposite happens. So you get something like this. And right now, that could be what's happening, right? You see that movement? Obviously not to this scale, but that could happen, and then it could start forming another fractal, another sequence. And where do we see that happen, guys? We see that happen right over here. Dude, come on. Okay, I'm gonna take this real quick, and this is a perfect example of that. See? This entire pattern played out inverse over here. So it's important that people understand this, guys, because like there's a lot of people in the community as well that talk about fractals and how they're they have to play out, right? Because something looks the same. But these change over and over and over again, especially on these white noisy areas here. So I just wanted to illustrate that to you guys so you guys understand what's happening here. But this is the original pattern. And if we lay it right over here, obviously this part doesn't look the same, right? So something to be careful about, just trying to spread some awareness with this, because there's a lot of people in the community, guys, that will just copy and paste a pattern and then expect it to play out. And that's just not how it works. You have to take into account. That's why I'm very, very skeptical about just these in general. And whenever I compare, like if I compare other stocks or other cryptos to AMC, the time frame always stays the same. It doesn't change. It's always the same time frame. Because there you're getting a very similar idea of how things are playing out, right? According to those stocks and those cryptos, where you can't really fuck around with the little, after hours and stuff like that. It's all the same. And it all, again, it ties in with what are these option dates and expiration dates. I was going to talk about this on the video, but I'm going to pull it up anyways because I feel like it's something that you guys should know about. But I'm working on this sort of like why the cycle works part 2. And it's supposed to go a little bit more in depth into how the system works as far as these dates, right? Because I'm very, very... again, the cycle is all based off of these dates, these very, very cyclical dates. So this is what happened back here in January. And you can tell these are monthly dates here for this cycle. It works a little bit different than this one because of the price, right? So if you take these off, these are going to be monthly dates instead of 2-month dates that this cycle is tracking. And what happens here, and what I keep seeing over and over again, is that they will run us up around the end of the month. And the reason for this, again, is to collect these premiums, right, at these prices. Because if you do it early on in the month, then you collect the premium early enough for people to go in on options and then take it down by these really, really important dates, right? Like June 18th was the middle of the month. And then back here, the middle of the month, see how they brought it back down to $5? That was, again, February 15th. So every time we see these run-ups, they are very much closer to the end of the month. Every single time. And I'm talking about these like larger run-ups. When you're trying to keep the price sideways, it doesn't really matter. It's these like big run-ups that I'm talking about here. And then, see, back here, this is August 24th. Again, you bring it up, you trade it sideways. This is the middle of the month, so the blue pattern always plays out in the middle of the month. So here is a sort of like new perspective that you guys can sort of look at here. It's really, really cool. But, RJ, what's up? Just want to say hello to the chat. Cam B, what up, baby? Cameron Bame, my best friend, is in the chat. How would you determine fractal beginning and ending, or is it just previous history? It's so, man, the cycle is taken from, again, a 62 day cycle that is based off of options and expiration dates. So what that means is these lines that you see, man, are all they correlate with these dates, right? That end up that are very close to these option expiration dates. If I pull up this flag scenario back here, so where is it? There we go, TA. Again, these dates right here, I'm gonna pull up monthly expiration, and then these are quadruple. Okay, so they're highlighted a little bit differently, and you can see them down here. But they will bring down the price on when these flags close up. When the technicals of AMC are done and over with, they will bring the price down to that, you know, $40 area multiple times, right here, right here, right here, and right here. So again, they're doing this based off of the technicals that play out beforehand so they could run it up before these option expiration dates. And it happens, I'm telling you, man, every single time. The reason why I believe that this is where is it? Right here. This setup right here, or this like new perspective that you can kind of look at things from, is that these are all like regression trends that we're looking at. From this line is like traded sideways, right? At some point when you get to these low levels, you start to, these institutions have to consider, okay, well now we've hit bottom here. And this is one of the option expiration dates where they brought it down, okay? So again, this happened back here. You can see it right here, man. See? But the price is different, so you have to look at it from the current price that it's at. And right now we're trading at $16, so it's a little bit different looking at it from this perspective. And now what are you going to do within this, you know, larger regression trend? Like, where are we going to go up? So again, this is going to be one of the scenarios that I'm going to be talking about on videos soon, and it'll talk about how we can squeeze from this specific scenario. So it's something to look into, guys, but it's really, really interesting, and it again lines up with option expiration dates in the cycle, so look out for this. All right. The legend. You cute, bro. What you mean? You little cutie. Red Ape, are you familiar with Funko Pops? I'm seeing them everywhere. So no, I'm not, man, but I'm gonna try and just stick to anything that's relating to AMC, man. Remember, I don't want to stray away from AMC. Why do they need to bring it up? So they need to bring it up because remember, these institutions are long AMC, right? The big institutions that are trying to make money. The theory here is that they are the ones that are controlling the price action. So if they're controlling the price action, then we have to consider the amount, like how they were able to prolong this forever is them trying to make money in between, right? So this entire thing is them trying to bleed the shorts dry, the people that got in and were over leveraged, and also play with retail. Like it's a puppet show. So we have to look at it that way, or at least try to, because again, if you just look at it from, hey, these shorts are the Citadel and all these shorts are controlling the price action, sure, that's a theory as well. But if they're doing that, then they're doing a damn good job, man, because they brought the price down to 16. So why, you really have to think about, why would these shorts do this entire thing? Why didn't they just come back here and cover back here? Like, why are they trying to, with what they got, bring the price action not only from retail, but basically you guys are saying that Citadel has more money than BlackRock, than Vanguard, which is just untrue. These Vanguard and BlackRock, if they were to be these like bigger institutions controlling the price action, they've got way more money than Citadel and all these other, like Melvin and all these other hedge funds. So you got to think about it that way, man. Like if you guys want to stick to the theory that this is all a play that's being manipulated by Citadel and them, then like the whole setup is kind of bearish if you think about it, because they've been able to keep, they're trying to bring this down to a penny at that point. And I don't know, if you really believe that, then it's really hard to believe that they would prolong this for so long just to be playing with. Basically, the only solution I would have for this is that they're playing with our emotions, and they're just trying to, I don't know, for no reason prolong this, because they're going to have to cover at some point. Why not just do it back here? Doesn't make sense. RJ, you're welcome, man. Of course. When gamma squeeze, again, so you can look at, there's a couple of scenarios, man, that I have. There's one that has to do with like a market crash. There's one that has to do with the cycle itself. This one is going to do with the cycle, but it's also going to do with this specific sort of like perspective sort of deal here, like in the way that it played out back here, sort of like how history repeats itself, but on a larger scale. This is going to be very similar to that. And I'm not saying at all that we would, you know, come back up around June, because again, reverse psychology guys, they would make a lot of people believe that we would come up by June 2nd, and that's just not in my opinion not going to happen. I don't think we're going to go up on the yearly mark, because there's too many people that would believe that, and too many people that would make money off of that it just wouldn't benefit the system. So that's why I believe on this specific scenario we would either squeeze beforehand or after. So it would be probably around July if that was the case. Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. But again, I'm going to make a scenario based off of this for sure. Let me bring this back for the people that just got in here. This is currently the setup that we have here for... Okay, this is supposed to go down. Anyways, there we go. Let's fix this real quick. So this is the entire fractal, guys, of AMC from May all the way to, I would say, October-ish. This is October. And then going into November. This is early November. So we are currently tracking that intraday. If you just lay these over, I mean, they look the same. We're not including this part because it's white noise. Remember, after hours, you cannot take any fractal and then lay it over. You have to ignore this part and break them up into little puzzles. So there it is. There's one. There we go. There we go. Okay. So right now it is tracking. And I was telling the chat earlier that at some point these do end up tracking opposite to one another, or they end up following a new fractal. So we'll see when that happens, but right now it's definitely following it. Yeah, crazy stuff for sure. Your theory is that when they bring it up is because they open positions that have to be closed. When will it be closed? No one knows. But yeah, I mean, but again, that theory would work. Guys, remember, any of this is, again, it's very objective in the sense that, you know, you believe whatever it is that your conviction is, and it's fine. But just think, or try and think, why these short positions or these hedge funds that got themselves in trouble back here, why they would be stagnating the price right now if they had that much power. First of all, ask yourself, do they have more money than the institutions that right now hold a larger position on AMC? Do they have more money than BlackRock? Do they have more money than Vanguard? And the thing is, they don't. And they don't by a lot. Like BlackRock's assets are like in the trillions, where Citadel's are in the billions. As well, like the only reason why BlackRock and all these other institutions would be considered the composite person controlling the price action is because they want reputation in the markets. So Citadel right now has good reputation within market securities and what's happening in the market, not in the way that we look at them. Obviously their reputation is very bad in the way that we look at them, but in like what's happening behind the algorithmic trading and stuff like that, and they hold a lot of positions right now in the DTCC. So that's something that BlackRock and Vanguard would be considering doing once they squeeze them dry, is that they could take over those positions that they currently hold. So it's all about reputation, guys. It's not really the money thing here. Do I think we will have a run up when we start a new cycle? Yes. The only way the cycle would change is if the cycle got smaller, then at that point I would be bearish for a really long time, just because the cycle would change into what was maybe, I don't know, this cycle back here. It would get smaller, and then it would take more time for us to come back up to where we want to be, right? But if the cycle started getting larger, and that's something that I'm definitely tracking. Right now we're following identical, so there's no point to do that. But again, guys, like, look, I'm gonna just show you real quick what we're doing here on the cycle, on the current cycle. But this is us right now, man. This entire pattern right here is playing out to what was this green pattern, right? So we're still tracking it. What happened back here, I'll show you the overlap here on the Fourier transform. But what happened back here before we ran up in June was we overlapped with the previous cycle, okay? So where is it? I deleted it. Whoops. Okay. Okay, so there's a cycle, guys, as well back here. And this cycle, I'm just gonna stretch it, whatever you call it, down. This right here overlapped. So I'm gonna make this blue. Okay, just call it, pretend this is the cycle back here, whatever. This overlapped. Again, same pattern here. Projector pattern, you will see that reflect on the previous cycle and on the current cycle. So this pattern right here will be found it's found on the blue pattern, and it's found on the pink pattern. It's found on literally every single pattern, okay? This will overlap with the projector and the new cycle. So the cycle will change, but it will overlap with it. So what I'm thinking is, once we come up here, whoa, what the heck? Where did those come from? Okay. Once we come up here and we start tracking a new cycle, then it's going to do the same thing. It's just going to be a larger version of that. You're going to find a bunch of little blue patterns in that cycle, but it's going to overlap with it, and then we're going to create a bigger cycle, a newer cycle. So again, I'm tracking that and see when that goes down, because that will be an indicator for me, at least, that we are going to start running up. Okay, Pen Willie, you said we are waiting for a setup. Yes, we're waiting for that projector pattern, that setup, that confirmation, where on a macro level we're set up to go up, and then that'll trigger volume, FOMO kicking in, and then essentially that squeeze, right? I do believe that. I do believe we need volume for sure. What if we're on a macro? What if we're in a macro, or I'm sorry, I already read that one. So one theory is that we could run up February, start a new cycle, and then maybe squeeze July, if understood. So yeah, man, it's something similar to that. Using this cycle, again, on a smaller scale here, the cycle would have played out to be this giant projector, correct? Within this projector back here, right, you would have looked at it the same way. So if we come back here, I'm gonna do the 30 minutes so you can study what happened back here. So back here, the projector would have been like right here on this run up, right? So there's a smaller projector that will take you to the big projector, and then the big projector will shoot up that volume, right, to the next run up or the squeeze. Again, that will happen back here, and the little projector is okay. The little projector is going to be found on one of these patterns. So it could be one of these, it could be right here. It could be back here flipped. It's going to be one of those. And then that will take you to the larger projector, which will take you to the squeeze. But yeah, man, it's just crazy stuff. Again, I'm gonna post a video on this because it's really important that you guys understand what's happening here on this setup. That we're on this really large regression trend, and we're just trading along it, right? Once we squeeze, though, or squeeze or go up from this trend, obviously we create this portion back here, which happened again back here. And then once we're done here, we will always trade on this regression trend on the bottom until we cross it again and then go up. That's why I think, bro, this is what I'm thinking, man. Once we start to come up here, hopefully on Thursday, we start coming up. But once we break out of this right here, man, once we break out of this line, and I'm gonna use what is the cycle here to make this setup real quick. So once we start breaking out, right? So tomorrow, again, you might get a little dip. You might get a little dip. I'm gonna use this, and then come back up. Start to come back up here. Okay, so we'll do something like that and create the same structure, and then maybe next week we'll start to come up, right, and sort of take care of this volume in the cycle. So if we do that and we're trading according to what the cycle is tracking, as long as we establish these support areas and then, you know, keep trading sideways, get to the blue pattern, and hopefully come up here, this range is very important. So once we get here and we start playing out this inverse, then that's when we start running up, right? So it just depends on where we are in the cycle. Once the projector is made and we check and we pass the projector setup, we are good to go. We are good to go, man. Yes, I do, man. The fast Fourier transform is, again, everything to do with it's more so again, you're taking a frequency of a sequence, and this sequence is all to do with volume. So it's already understanding that, right? That is something that is obviously reflected on the chart. It's just volume and the way it's being traded. So yes, it does. There's other indicators that you can use, man, for it that would basically confirm that too. I know a lot of people ask me, man, on Twitter and stuff, like, dude, like, you should use these indicators and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I do. I don't focus too much on them, however, because it's one of those things where, like, I look at it the same way, man, almost as like the whole fractal situation, where the indicators are used against us as well. It's one of those, like, second guess yourself sort of deal. Again, I talk about this a lot, man, because for me, the, like, kind of the heartbreaking thing for me was this point right here, where I had been tracking the cycle for a month here. So this was the first time that I pulled up the cycle and I was tracking it. And I was excited for this because this was the setup, man. The flag was ready to go, and I thought we were going to go up. But instead, right, the inverse happened, and they shorted us. So, like, just learning from that experience, I kind of look at things from this lesson, man. I look at things from, it doesn't matter what technical setup you're at or what the indicator is saying. The only thing that matters is looking at these dates, looking at these option dates, because when they do bring the price up, knowing how they're going to do it is the only thing that people should understand, because they're gonna try, and if we get a leg up and they can't, or if they don't want to squeeze this just yet and they just want another leg up, we have to be ready for like these extremely expensive premiums and how they're going to take us down, when they're going to take us down. I think that's something that people should be looking at, rather than, you know, an indicator that happened back here in June that is likely to happen because history repeats itself. So again, I'm not trying to put too much faith in that. JNX, how you doing, my guy? What up? You're looking good though, right now, man. And we're looking ready and set up for what is Thursday, right? All right, so here's a cycle, dude. Okay, here we go. Scenarios. There we go. Okay. What is the cycle doing right now? Let's track it. It's 248. We're still tracking. Identical. So when I know I've had a lot of questions about this. Whenever we stop tracking the cycle, guys, first of all, I'm gonna let you know, and number two, it's gonna be very clear in the way that happens, because we're gonna get it's gonna be back-to-back multiple days where we don't track it at all. So for example, for me, something that I would look at for if it has nothing to do with like news catalyst or whatever, we're in the setup and we're ready to go, and we got that pattern, that projected pattern, and then we just completely stop following. For example, you see this setup right here, this, if we were coming close to this setup, right, and we did something like random as heck, where it was like, I don't know, something like that, something weird, obviously I'm gonna look at that and be a little bit confused, like, why is it not following this according to what we've been tracking for the past 4 months? Well, at that point, if that is the case, then that's going to be an indicator to me that we're either going to go up or down, which is better than most indicators if you think about it, because it's a 50-50 chance that something plays out. So again, I'm going to be looking at that, guys, and I'll let you know if I think it's not tracking anymore, if we're going on to a new cycle, and how we can go from there. Yo, STU Pit, what's up, man? Okay, so right now we have about 10 minutes left in the day. I'm gonna stay a little bit after to answer some questions, guys, and talk a little bit about the setup and what is to come for those of you that are just joining now. I know it was a little bit of a dry day, nothing exciting. Kind of expected that we were gonna trade sideways. So again, we're gonna be looking at tomorrow and Thursday as potential upside for the first time in a really long time. So wow. Get that, man, to a T. This is when fractals work. Be cool to learn to see what happens here. It's like getting sucked into this hole and gets stretched, and then it like it'll just popped into another new universe, left this whole thing behind, and yeah, it's so cool. What was I gonna show you guys as well? I was gonna show you something, a similar setup that happened. So remember how we were comparing the Doge thing with Lucid? So again, guys, the projector did fail for Doge, so that's not quite it yet. If we are tracking Doge, right, on those similar days that we're talking about, where it tracks anywhere from it's been in the past is when anywhere from 4 to 12 days, depending on where you are on the setup. So I'm gonna just pull this up real quick so you guys know. Again, this is Lucid and Doge. This is the projector pattern that failed, and now it's playing opposite to what happened. So you see, when we get this setup and we don't have that volume, or the algorithm doesn't want it to have that volume, then we have the inverse play out, which you see right here, right? The downside, say sideways. So we are coming to a point where, you know, we might keep going down on Doge. It's possible. However, if we take Lucid and sort of trying to understand how it's playing in here with Doge, we would just have to move it and sort of just, you know, wait until that final bottom that we haven't got to quite yet. So that's when I'm going to be kind of looking at if it's even tracking this or not. Again, and you have to be very careful in how you stretch these guys. They have to be normalized in their time, in their original time frame. Okay, so it's really crazy to understand that. Anyways, we'll keep that guy down there. And one thing that I wanted to talk about here with Doge is let me see where that pattern is. I want to pull up the AMC one so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, here we go. So, again, remember this whole thing with AMC? So that happened, to me, it first of all, it happened around this spike. So around this same spike down here on a smaller scale, this is one way to confirm that, you know, that option dates have a lot to do with how things are traded, because you will get a little bit of volume maybe here on AMC, but on Doge it was a lot more for whatever reason. And again, guys, Doge and everything ultimately will track what is happening around the market. So these go hand in hand with each other. So yeah, we had this set up here, and I told everybody, I'm like, guys, this does not mean that we're going to go up on February 1st or whatever, or 2nd. It has nothing to do with that. If this happens, okay, awesome. But it doesn't mean that this is going to happen at all. It just means that these points are relevant to the way the price goes up or down. So spike, right? Spike here, spike down, up. So right here, we might have something similar. We might get a little spike up and then come back down, or we might have a spike down. So again, waiting for that. Nothing confirmed yet from that. So right now, it's following the neutral scenario, man. Sorry, guys, I have so many charts pulled up. I know it's making some of you dizzy. The neutral scenario, man, was something like this, where we would trade a little bit sideways for the week and then come down on Wednesday and then start coming back up for Thursday and Friday. But this is actually the bullish scenario here. So this is the neutral scenario. The bearish one would have been to play this basically inverse, and then the really bullish one would have been to actually come all the way up to these levels up here. And that is if we track the cycle like basically identical to the way that happened back in June, which I personally don't think is likely to happen. I think, again, we need to have a setup before we run up. AMC moving into a possible green fourth quarter, new popcorn and streaming, do you think? I mean, honestly, bro, and this is, again, just my own bias of it, but I don't think the fundamentals really play a role in the way AMC is being traded. I don't think... I think that, to an extent, it's when it matters is when people really realize that things are going down, right? Because you will always see this happen, right? They will bring out these events that have, like, these new news catalysts that have happened multiple times that are very bullish for AMC, and you will still see the price action go down. So I personally don't like looking at fundamentals in the way that AMC is being traded for technicals or anything like that. However, again, and this is where they will make us sort of second guess ourselves, but they will release some sort of catalyst around these dates, guys. Whenever we start running up, there's always a weird catalyst, man, that will happen very close to it or right after it that will bring the price action up. They were pushing a lot of weird narratives over here, man. So again, that's why it's a little bit hard to sort of break from that whole, like, fundamental thinking sort of way, because even though they push all of these catalysts throughout the entire trading chart here, there are so many that happened here. Most of them were not bullish at all. Like, the news catalysts were bullish, but the price action was bearish. So again, when it does happen, it's a way to kind of get in your head and be like, no, they do matter because we're running up. Can I explain the projector pattern? Yeah, man, of course. So projector pattern is down here. It's the green pattern. I'm gonna highlight it here for you. This is the projector pattern. You see this pattern happen in every run-up, okay? So you see it down here. And you also see it down here. Oh my god, I hate when that happens. Okay, I guess I fixed it. Okay. Where is it? Okay, the November. This is one of the first things that triggered the whole... On a very, very small scale. I'm on the 2-hour, man, so it's a little bit hard, but it's an entire thing. I would say it's this one, because it's on... The price is a lot different. This is dollars, so... Every run-up has a projector. And... Again, the only stocks that don't have projectors are typically going to be stocks that don't have an option chain. And you can even look this up yourself. Depending on the volume and stuff like that comes into it. But there's a lot of stocks that will just shoot up straight up in a line. AMC is not one of those. They all have a projector. And again, the projector function, in my opinion, is inflicting volume, FOMO, short sellers, whatever, that have to cover. And then the algorithm checks if they're okay. If there's not enough volume coming in, then they can take that opportunity to short it down, which is what happened back here. Because we had a projector set up, we were ready to go, right? It's the pink pattern. Pink pattern and the green pattern are like brother and sister, okay? So, again, you will see the projector pattern play out whenever it wants. And according to the cycle, right, and the option expiration dates. But it could be anywhere here. And once it happens and it checks that, it'll fail or succeed. So if it fails, again, we don't squeeze. Or I'm sorry, if it fails, we squeeze. If it succeeds, then obviously it's because what it's trying to do ultimately is keep on prolonging this until it can't anymore. Once it can't, it'll fail, and then this happens. We squeeze. Yeah. So yeah, Jason, sorry, I just saw the chat, but yeah, this is where it happened before was right here. Because this entire sequence is flipped, right? This entire thing is flipped. See? This is what I thought was going to happen back here, man. And I was telling my family and stuff, I'm like, dude, this is it right here. Like, I'm so ready for this. And then dude, this literally took me down. And I was like, not again. I'm not looking at things from that perspective because it's all a psychological game. They're catching up to what retail is finding out about, you know, what's happening here. So they're trying really hard to play with our emotions, and it worked. I mean, it worked for me here. They definitely fucked with mine. All right, it's 3:02. We're just gonna chill. It's all good. We ended the day at 16:02, so it's all fine, fine and dandy. Yeah. No, I mean they can. Yeah, Lynn, I will play it. I will play it for you. I promise. I promise this time. I'm gonna wait another a couple more minutes for everybody to ask their questions, and then I'll play it for you. Well, they wouldn't fail. So that's well, we can't really look at it like that. Like 2, 3 out of 3, whatever. You can, I guess, it's a possibility, right? But it did again. Coming up to the projector here, it did play out here. Let me highlight this and try. Here again, we played it out identical to the projector in the beginning, right? Why can't I take this and move it? Okay, identical. See, identical, it goes up, and then identical before flipping. Here we played out inverse first. This is inverse. So it's the only cycle that has started off playing inverse to the rest. And again, guys, it's taken from this cycle, and this cycle is tracking what happened here in June. So you almost have to ignore this pattern up here, not down here, right? Because we're replicating what's happening here and studying these individual 62-day-long sections. But again, the fact that this is playing out inverse and then identical is, to me, it's sort of a bullish thing. But again, it doesn't confirm that this is going to go up. That's why I keep telling everybody, you have to be careful in the way that you look at these things, because they can always just do this and then play out again inverse, and then we come down again. It would suck, man. It would really suck if we played out this sequence inverse, because then we would go down, and then they would probably take us down pretty heavily, because the past 3 other cycles, it has been nasty, bro, how they have taken us down. Okay, so this would be playing out inverse. We highlight that red, and again, you see that happen multiple times. See right here, pressure going to the downside, and then over here as well, downside. And here they took it further, right? It didn't just start to go down here, it kept going down. So again, we're tracking, we tracked inverse first, and now we're tracking identical. So to me, it's a bullish sign. Just right now, it's a bullish sign for sure. Mikey, so how's the macro cycle looking? Are we tracking? Oh, okay, yeah. So you were probably here for that. You heard that, right? Is the projector pattern always the same pattern? Typically, it is. A lot of the times, again, the projector pattern will be a reflection of the run-up, okay? So if I take this pattern right here, right, and I'm going to do 3 to 3 so you guys can see. There it is. Wait, no, that wasn't it. So this, again, I'm not changing the time, guys, when I do this. I'm clearly showing you. If I take 3, right, 3, and then we're going to do 3 right here, okay? There it is. This is a reflection of the run-up in June. And it's also a reflection of the green pattern as well. So the green pattern, and then if we take this back here, we stretch it. All we're doing is changing the height, not the time. Again, I'm going to keep saying that so that you guys don't get confused. There's 3. Again, so here, stretch this up. And it's the same setup. See how it's the same setup? But here, the projector pattern plays out inverse too. So what you have to remember is that a lot of the times you will have these patterns back here. For example, this one. That will be a hedging strategy. So the way this works is that instead of it being the exact same pattern, it's the opposite. Because what happens here is you mirror this guy, and it's a puzzle, right? It's a puzzle to what happened right here. Right, this movement. You literally just puzzle guy right there. So again, the projector patterns most of the time will look the same. They're gonna look like this. There's one, and then again, we compare this guy to the green pattern. If you want more information on this, man, or anybody that's watching, go watch the cycle sessions video, and that talks about the green pattern. It talks about the pink pattern. It talks about all these patterns, bro. But you see the same structure that it goes up, creates what Booksy calls these little cat ears, right? But it's the same structure of how it goes up, and then it comes down, and then it trades sideways. And then once it knows whether the volume worked or not, that's when it'll trigger what the algorithm decides, right? So it's a succeed or fail, and then boom, we go up or we go down. So it goes both ways, or it can only go both ways, really. But yeah. So what day would it be if we continue to track it? So again, this is something that I am just speculating. It's not something that I'm going to, again, I'm going to just be posting multiple scenarios so you guys are able to look at whatever you want and put your own bias to it. But again, I would say that according to this, man, for me, the tracking the cycle and where this projector has happened in the past, it always happens around this like middle of the month sort of deal, to basically get the setup ready for early in the month, because you want to avoid having this squeeze in the middle of the month, because that's when the quadruple witching dates happen, and that's when a lot of the options are basically that's where the options line up to be dangerous for these hedge funds and institutions that hold their premiums, right? Where they bring up the premiums and they want to bring it down by that specific date. So for me personally, I still think we're going to be running up around end of the month or early of the month, whenever. And I had picked specifically for one of the scenarios around April 1st, towards either end of the month, March, or early April. That would have been one of the scenarios, again, not my prediction, but that aligns very much with the current cycle and what the cycle is tracking. So don't hold me to that, please. Could it go down to 11? It can, man. It's a possibility. Again, I personally did not want to see 15, but if we're going to bounce back and we keep tracking what is happening here with the green pattern, I'm still going to remain bullish again on the macro of things, right? On the short term, again, it's still very, very unsure of what's to happen. But if we start to get this setup, guys, and come up on Thursday, how the cycle is tracking, I'm literally gonna scream, bro, and I'm gonna like freak out, because this, again, these are the most important in the entire cycle, are the way that these either run up or run down. That's what I look at the most, and it's always going to be the beginning of the month and the end of the month that's why, dude, for the last 2 weeks, almost 3, it's been kind of quiet, right? Because there is so much noise happening that, like, people want to see these drastic moves to sort of confirm what's happening. And I want to see the same, man. I want to see the same. I want to see it happen over and over and over again. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. But yeah, man, if it does that on Thursday, then again, I'm gonna be very bullish, very bullish if it starts to do that on Thursday. Let's see what happened here. Oh wow, look at that. Yeah, guys, anybody that just came in, this is May to November 15th, May 13th, or I'm sorry, no, May 24th, all the way through November 15th, and we are tracking this identical on a smaller micro fractal for excluding what was this after hours session that I had been telling people, make sure you don't just grab this pattern and stretch it out, because you're going to be missing out a lot of what's happening in between. Again, at some point, this is going to stop following it, so we have to be attentive to that. Whenever it stops following it, that's when we will know, okay? And in my opinion, I think we're going to stop following it around this area, because this is, again, where we failed the projector setup on the macro and we started going down. So here, this is the 26th. Again, this is tomorrow. If this plays out in that way, this literally goes hand in hand with what's happening with the cycle, which means that here, pull it up. 2 hours. No, that's too much. Let's do the 1 hour. So see how this guy's laid out there for you? If we take the cycle and we bring it up here, they literally go hand in hand with each other, bro. Look at this. This is, again, May 24th through November 15th. We broke down. This is saying that that is going to happen tomorrow, that we are going to come down tomorrow and probably do that again, that double bottom setup where we would do this, right, and then trade sideways or whatever, and then by Thursday go up, right, start to go up, because that's what we are tracking. So again, I'm excited for that. Not a prediction, just a scenario. Yeah, Mikey, me and my brother are working on an indicator that tracks this cycle. So we'll have that out at some point. Not yet. It's still in the works. But once I have that set up, I'll put it in the link and you guys can use it. But it'll literally track it to a T. So, yes, sir. Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Sounds good. Let's see. Alrighty, well, I have to play this for Lynn because she said, make sure that you play this song before we close out the day. So I'm going to do that for her, okay? See if this works. Oh no. Is it not gonna do it? Oh, I gotta play the song, I guess. Okay. Are you ready? Trading with emotions, guys. Alright. Peace out, boys and girls. It was good to trade with you guys and have a little bit of fun, and it was dope, and I fucking love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Let's trade. Peace out.